This is the plaintiff, Gary Wills. He says he bought a tractor from the defendant, and before he could pick it up from her house, it disappeared. Turns out the town took it from her property because they thought it was abandoned. He went to the town, got a royal runaround, and is now out the $4,000 he spent on the thing and the new tires for it. So he's suing. This is the defendant, Crystal Leggett. She says she had a 30-foot, 80,000-pound tractor that belonged to her father, the first African-American landscaper in her county. The plaintiff bought the thing but left it on her property for 13 months. She thought he abandoned the thing. The town was after her to remove it, and she got rid of it. She told the plaintiff on numerous occasions to pick it up, but he didn't, and now it's gone. She's accused of plowing into a lawsuit. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,390 for all she's out.
All parties, please use your right hand. Seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Gary Wills, you are suing Crystal Leggett for $4,000, $2,000 of it, an amount that you paid for a 1981 Ford tractor, and the rest for the amount that you spent on tires and battery and other things for the tractor. You have a counterclaim against it for $3,390 because that's what you say you are out. Let me hear from you first, Mr. Wills.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. Basically, I met Crystal in July of 2016 through a mutual friend that said that she had a tractor. I was interested in purchasing a tractor, and he said that he knew a lady that had the tractor, introduced me to Crystal.
And why were you interested in buying the tractor?
Well, I'm a minister in the church, and we can use the tractor to remove snow and clean up, so.
Okay. So you meet her, and you see the tractor, and you
Yes.
decide you want to buy it?
Yes.
And you agree on a purchase price of how much?
$1,500 at the time. Your
Okay.
Honor.
And do you have that in writing?
No, actually, she raised the price on me after the tractor was started. She decided to go up on the price.
Okay, but you didn't have anything in writing on the $1,500?
Oh, I have the
$2,000, you have something in
I have
writing.
in writing, yes.
All right, and so how did the tractor start working? You got it a new battery?
Yes, I had to go purchase a new battery because for several days I tried to.
Well, you didn't want it if it didn't start up with a new battery
Exactly.
anyway. So it
Exactly.
sounds like, you know,
The
it
battery-
was like it was kind of a guess on everybody's part what the thing was worth until we knew if it ran.
Right.
So anyway, you two agree on $2,000 after you get it running.
Right.
Okay, and then what was the deal on leaving it on that property?
Well, she was moving. She had the moving truck, and she said she was moving away in a couple of days. And I still need to work on the tractor. It had 2 busted tires in the front, and at the time that I was aware, it was just the tires at the time.
Meaning you had to put tires on it?
Yes.
So the understanding when you buy it is that you are going to put tires on it and do what?
I was going to repair the tractor, and I was going to drive it.
Yeah, but for how
2
long?
towns
How long were
over.
you going to leave it on her property?
Oh,
Because that's why we're here.
Yeah, well, she didn't give me an exact time.
Okay, how long was it on the property? Is this a property you had moved from? You were moving from?
Yes, it's a property I own, and the month that I sold it to him, I was moving and renting it out the same day.
Okay.
He signed.
And tell me about this 1981 tractor.
It was my dad's tractor. My dad was a landscaper in the county. He was one of the first African-American landscapers in the county maybe 50 years ago. So he owned a lot of equipment. 2015, he got really sick. And that's when like a lot of guys from the neighborhood that knew him started to flock us for his equipment because they knew he couldn't work anymore. He has 7 daughters, and a lot of guys knew we don't know the value of that stuff. The day I met this gentleman,
7 daughters?
he walked onto the property and he said, "Oh, you're selling a tractor? I'll give you $400 for it." I said, "No, I can't do that." I actually have the contract we signed that day for $2,000.
Yeah.
So he purchased it. I moved the next day. My tenants moved in the very next day. I moved out of state.
What was the agreement? Did the contract say anything about leaving the thing there?
No, but me and him had a verbal agreement that he would move it soon.
So what's soon mean?
Soon,
Don't
within
you, like loose ends like this never work.
I know.
And loose ends keep us in business, okay? Because everybody has a different idea of soon. For example, if I ask my husband to do something and he says, yeah, I'll get right on it. I got one of my best guys working on it, right? Well, that's soon for him, but it's not soon for me, see? So
I remember the verbal agreement being a few weeks. He told me to give him a few weeks, he would have it off the property.
Okay. And how many weeks did you take?
I didn't agree on a few weeks.
Well, it's not really your place, is it? Because it's not your property. So you let him keep it there for how long?
56 weeks. He left it there. I did not let him keep it. In fact, I flew back to New York in January because I was continuously getting shorted on the rent from the tenants. So I said, let me go back and...
What do you mean by getting shorted?
I agreed that with the tenants, I told them when they moved in, oh, it'll be going in a couple weeks. I just sold it to someone around the corner. The first month...
How big is it? Like, I'm having trouble...
It is maybe 30 feet. It covers one side of the house to the next. And the reason I sold it to him is because I got a warning from the town.
Did you say 30 feet long?
Yes, I did.
Wow, that's big.
It's longer than the length of the house.
Okay, so all their windows are looking out onto the tractor?
Yes, and I have pictures I can show you.
Yeah, I'm dying to see them. And so you were giving them a break in the rent by how much?
The first month it was $80, but after a while I almost became embarrassed that it was still there and I couldn't contact him. He
wouldn't answer your calls?
He never answered the call. He never paid the $150 per month that we agreed to. I have the original contract also.
Wait, what 100? Let me see that.
Yeah.
$150 a month for what?
Because the initial agreement was $2,000.
Right.
He agreed to pay $150 a month. He gave me $1,500 cash, and he agreed to $150 a month until the $500 was paid off. I never heard from him again. He never answered the phone. I flew back.
So he still owes you $500 on the original purchase price?
I flew back to New York, and I knocked on his door.
Oh.
He looked like he saw a ghost. I said, excuse me, why haven't you moved the tractor? You know I have the tenants
Wait, when
there.
did you fly back to New York?
In January
Where
of
had you moved to?
2017, South Carolina.
Okay, so you flew back to New York in January from South Carolina. What's wrong with that picture?
Because he
that
never
alone
answered the
should be.
phone.
All right, and so you knock on his door, and he looks like he's seen a ghost, and you say, why is that thing still on my property?
Right.
And where's the rest of my money? And then what does he do?
He gave me the rest of the money and promised he would move it within a week.
And that was January.
7 months later, my tenants moved out. I have a letter from them saying, we're sorry, but we can't live with that in our backyard.
We don't like the extra roommate.
No.
And what's the city doing in the meantime? They're not sweating you?
No, my tenants told me a guy rode past and took a picture of the house in the town truck. I know that's what it's for.
What are you doing? Why was it there 7 months later? And how did you owe her the $500 for all that time? Why did you owe her that money and not pay her?
The reason why I owed her the money is because at the time when we agreed on the $1,500, I told her that was all that I had. She said she had to...
Yes, and you were supposed to pay her $150 a month, and you didn't do that. And 6 months passed, you had to fly here to collect it.
Okay.
Why?
Because I have not seen her. I have not seen her.
Oh, she didn't give you her address for you to pay her?
No, Your Honor.
No?
I told her...
Stop.
I'm sorry. I called his phone number for months. He never answered the phone.
So apparently, you pay her the $500, right? Now that she's on your doorstep, and then you promise to move it. Now, please tell me what you did to move it between January. When did you end up getting rid of it?
August 21st.
Oh, for the love of God.
Your Honor, she moved away. I had no way of contacting her.
I don't know what you're saying. She flew here to talk to you, and you gave her $500.
I gave her the money.
There's no more talk necessary. Make the arrangements, dig deep into your wallet, and stop making it her problem. I don't understand why you think it's okay to make it somebody else's problem.
That's not the case, Your Honor.
It sounds like it.
I told her
because we got to get all the way to August. Wait, and actually, you get rid of it in August, but when does he show up?
He showed up, I would say, 3 days after it was removed off my property.
Oh, so he probably drove by and saw it was no longer there.
Right, because you can see it
Oh, now
from
he
the
can
front of
find
the
you, though.
house.
How did he find you?
Came and knocked on the door.
Where were you?
I moved back to the residence after my
okay.
tenants moved out.
Okay. So
I gave evidence of his yard. He has a 6-car driveway, 2-story house, extremely...
Yeah, but then he doesn't want to put a tractor there.
He has a huge backyard. His problem is you can see his backyard off the main road.
Oh, so you get caught.
Huge
He'd rather you get
intersection.
caught. That's so charitable.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if somebody leaves a tractor for 13 months on somebody's property, is that abandoned?
I would say yes. I mean, you leave it there that long, at that point in time, like, what are you going to do with it?
So, what's the magic number when it becomes abandoned?
I don't know the laws on it, but I would say a reasonable amount of time.
Which is?
Which is maybe a few months.
Okay, what do you say? Is it abandoned after 13 months?
I think it's certainly after a year.
After a year. What's the magic number?
Maybe 6 months, 12 months.
It's like prunes. You just don't know, right? Going inside the courtroom.
What are you suing for? You're suing. You think I'm going to make her pay you $4,000 when you left that item on there for a year? Like, how do you figure? When is it abandoned?
I was continually working on the tractor, Your Honor.
I don't care. It's not welcome anymore. I'm trying to understand why you don't just get a tow truck and make it your problem and put it on your property.
You're right, Your Honor.
Yeah.
She's only 10 houses away from me.
So that's like it's on your property. Because it's only 10 houses away from it.
Your Honor.
That even makes it more aggressive. Why don't you just push it to your house?
She told me, when I approached the house, I saw the tractor was gone. I said, Crystal, what happened to the tractor? She said, the town took it. Go to the town with your information and get it from them. So I went to the town to look for the tractor. They said they haven't towed any tractors in the 30 years that they've had it. I came back to knock on Crystal's house. She wouldn't answer the door.
Oh, how's it feel?
Yeah. So I saw some people across the street, and they told me that they saw a gentleman that worked for her father named Dusty drive it up onto a flatbed.
And did you go to Dusty?
Yes.
And what did Dusty say?
Dusty says it's too late. Tommy has it.
Did you go to Tommy?
I didn't know who Tommy was.
Did Dusty know who Tommy was?
He must have. He said Tommy had it.
But did he say where Tommy lived and all that?
No, he wouldn't. He would refuse to talk to me. I had the guy.
So now you're having to chase people around, right? Now you know how it feels, right? Yeah. What planet are you living on that you think for 1 second that I would make this lady, after you kept something you bought a year ago on her property, that I would say anything but that it's abandoned?
Your Honor, granted, I took time working on the vehicle.
Time? That's not time.
Okay, I took a year working on the vehicle.
Do you think for 1 second that anyone is going to tolerate you leaving it there a year and say
February,
you have some right to it, that she's got to dig into her pocket and reach in and hand you not just the $2,000 you paid for it, but the $2,000? Is there no consequence in your life when you make bad decisions and impose on other people? No consequence for you.
I know, that's why she asked me how much more time did I need.
Oh.
I said at least.
At least what, another 8 months? Go on. Now, you filed a counterclaim here today for $3,390. Storage of the tractor. But you didn't have a storage contract with him. It's kind of, you were nice for way too long.
Yes.
You could have been nice for just 3 weeks and then said, get this off, or I will call the city and have it towed and say it's abandoned property. You could have done that, but you didn't. All right, and then the airline ticket to fly to New York from South Carolina, he would pay you for that. Why?
Well, I would not have came back to New York.
Except for you moved back here, and you obviously still have connections here, and you still have
Right, but I
ties
wouldn't have
here.
came back in February. I came back because I continuously was getting shorted on my rent, which I agreed to with the tenants, but I wanted it to stop. I had to knock on his door. He wasn't answering the phone. He never contacted me. He never contacted my family. The tractor needed to be...
Your family could have knocked on his door.
Yeah, but they didn't have the agreement with him.
No, I understand. But you don't have to fly. In other words, that's not... What you're entitled to in court is necessary damages as a result of the breach. And, clearly, I think he breached and that he abandoned the property, but I don't think that your countersuit is righteous. So on your counterclaim against him, 0. And on his claim against you, a big, fat, round 0. Okay? That's my verdict. May Tommy enjoy the tractor.
Well, there are no winners in this case. The defendant loses her countersuit. The plaintiff loses his suit. It's a 0-0 tie. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the judge realized he was taking advantage of me and using my property as storage.
No question about that.
No
totally
questions
agreed
asked.
with you.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you learned something. Anyway, you got rid of the tractor.
Yes, finally.
Finally. All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Now here comes Mr. Wills. Mr. Wills, if you'll step out here. Do you think you learned anything from all of this? I mean, my gosh. 11, 13 months it was there?
Yes, it was
long
there a
time.
long time, but
Yeah.
she did know I was working on it, and she said it was okay.
You could have pushed the tractor, as the judge said.
Yeah.
You should have. All right. Thank you very much. Your mom's laughing. Okay. Harvey?
Okay, Doug. Well, the rules on when property is abandoned actually vary not only from state to state, but in some cases city to city. What you should do is either check with your local police department or you can research this online. It's pretty easy. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.